Myanmar's ruling military announcing a temporary ceasefire with its armed opponents via state television on Wednesday. Myanmar has been in civil war since 2021 after the military unseated the elected civilian government in a coup. According to state TV, the ceasefire would last until April 22nd to help ease relief efforts following the 7.7 magnitude earthquake that shook the country and neighboring Thailand on Friday. International aid has been pouring in since the disaster, relief workers coming in from China, Russia, and India, among other countries. The U.S. has had a far lesser presence following cuts to the U.S. Agency for International Development by the Trump administration.
Teams in our region would have been assembling to deploy at host government's acceptance, of course, into the region. None of that took place. In fact, it was quite the opposite, where you saw people told not to work.
Washington has committed $2 million and pledged a 3-member assessment team whose arrival has been delayed by problems obtaining visas from the military regime. In Mandalay on Tuesday, residents waited in long lines for food, the line weaving through a makeshift campsite. The UN's World Food Program has begun distributing aid to earthquake victims, as residents in Mandalay and Sagaing say they haven't received any help from the military, who has struggled to run Myanmar since its return to power. Meanwhile, UNICEF is raising the alarm about the country's youngest citizens.
This is a crisis on top of another crisis for children in Myanmar. So even before this earthquake, 6 million children in Myanmar were in need of humanitarian assistance.
The agency says its appeal for 2025 is only 10% funded, making the call for aid even more dire.
There's a risk of children dying because we know that it's very likely that disease will proliferate. There will be disease in the earthquake-affected areas if we're not able to get enough clean water, enough medical supplies in there.
The UN says aid organizations must act swiftly, with monsoon season looming, threatening to worsen the crisis, which has so far killed nearly 3,000 people in Myanmar and more than 20 in Thailand. For City News, I'm Erica Natividad.